December, and wishing each and everyone Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Good news from the Football Association and the Executive Committee of the Football Association made a series of approvals today, approving the increase in the subvention to clubs in the first, second, and women's division to $7,500 each, increasing also the indemnity for match commissioners to $60 per match commissioners, increasing on overall indemnities for referees. And I mean, the big one in terms of what we all been talking about is about improving infrastructures in our country. The executive committee now has also approved 3 mini pitches, one in Maryland County, another way there in Brownsville, another in the Saytown community in Monserrado County. In addition to those mini pitches, the executive committee has also approved to move forward with the RFQ for artificial pitches around Liberia. Marshall City will have one artificial pitch. Grand Judea County, like we've spoken about before, will also have an artificial pitch. Grand Crew County, River G, Maryland County, Sano, River Cess, Bombing, Bapulu counties, including Grand Cape Mount counties. All of those counties, Lofa and Bone, will definitely have artificial pitches. The executive committee has now given us the authorization to move forward with the works in terms of obtaining the RFQ for the various facilities. Also, in addition to the transportation scheme that we introduced under the LFA to support clubs in terms of their movement, we've approved also purchase of 4 buses, 30-seaters, to assist the easy movement of our players belonging to clubs from one league venue to another, in order to reduce the risk factor of hiring other vehicles that are not 100% roadworthy, and to provide comfort to our players, both boys and girls, in our leagues. The executive committee, in addition to that, also approved the purchase and the procurement of stadium lighting that should be at the Thomas F. Floyd Stadium, also at the Doris William SKD Practice pitch, the Nesebido Stadium, also at the Tusa pitch, to ensure that we have more night matches played by our clubs in the league. We've also going to launch the procurement of digital scoreboards for all other venues without scoreboards, to ensure that all of our fans will have more comfort. The executive committee is still reviewing the construction of change rooms at the Gompa Stadium as well, and many other additional opportunities for the LFA. A couple of the big ones, yes, announced on OKFM, the Liberia Football Association taking into consideration all of the experiences, challenges with funding, will now move towards the construction of the LFA Hotel. LFA Hotel, we intend to have a building, 50 rooms, 10 suites, 20 double rooms, 20 single rooms, a rooftop, a bar, large swimming pool, conference hall, and all intended to provide comfort accommodation for our national team players, and to also utilize the hotel for hospitality services, where we can generate money to reinvest into our football program. So I believe it's something big for us. And then moving forward, the 4 football zones are going to have zonal offices. One zonal office will be constructed in Bond County, another zonal office in Maryland County, another zonal office in Clay Bombay County, another way there in Grand Bassa County. It's all geared towards ensuring that we have these facilities in place to enable easy access of our clubs way there in the regional association, and to provide comfort for those who are managing regional football in Liberia. Season greetings to our dear stakeholders, Liberians in and out. Exciting moment, happy moment for.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to this special broadcast live from the headquarters of the Liberia Football Association, special edition of the upcoming LFA 2024-2025 awards. And we decided to have this media engagement unlike the regular press conferences. And today alongside me, I have 2 panelists. On my right hand is the competitions manager and manager of events as well here at the Liberia Football Association, Mr. Joel S. Freeman. And on my left, I have Banja Scott, who is a member of the LFA Awards Committee, as we'll be discussing events or plans leading to this year's event. That's the 2024-2025 LFA Awards. And interestingly, it's just 8 days away where we're going to have 25 categories in the awards to be dished out to nominees, and then the winners that will be selected from among those nominees, and also special recognitions and perhaps other additions that have been made within this year's awards. So to discuss that, to give more input, these are my panelists, and we are going to be discussing all of these things mentioned relative to the 2024-2025 Liberia Football Association Awards, where we recognize excellent performances during past season, honoring those top performers in our league, talking about the first division, the second division, and the women's upper division league for their exceptional performances during the league season. So to begin with, we first like to take a look back at the 2024-2025 LFA Awards. So we start with Mr. Scott. Tell us about the 2024-2025 LFA Awards, looking at the organization, the event itself, things, those procedural processes leading to the awards, the photo shoot. How was it?
Well, it was a good experience. We switched it up a little bit. We had more engagement outside on the red carpet. I think it was a good twist. As you're entering, the red carpet outside, we had your chance to take photos. And last year we had a addition of the VIP room where our esteemed guests and some of the winners after the awards could go in and grab something to eat, little refreshments. It was a good event. This year we were doing our best to top it, make it more entertaining, more lively, and we have to. Every year it has to get better. So that's what we're looking forward to for this year.
So stick with the last edition, Joel. As chairman of competition, with all of these stars and nomination coming from the competitions department, coming up with list of awards, the categories. Tell us for the last edition about those success stories and catching moments that we saw in the last edition of the awards.
Thank you first for having us up here. And we want to go straight with what you talked about. There are a lot of eye-catching moments, or we want to classify some of them as success stories. So I'll take you first to the voting format.
Okay.
Previous awards, we had this complexity about people voting hard cards, and sometimes tracing the actual votes, they were somehow troublesome. So last year we introduced the digital vote system, and then where the delegates voted via email, and then there was a clear trace of how people made a decision about who was favorable to win this or that award. And it was so easy for us to generate, so easy to populate as well. That was a game changer. Still on success stories, we had this situation about the increment in categories, introduction of new categories. Like last year, we had the addition of most disciplined player. It was a way of extending what we've had on the normal, and also trying to draw into context more quality awards being dished out. We also added the best young player, which was not laid out in during previous ceremonies. So let's see what this year brings.
Now, talking about those new categories, what was the reception from the audience? The recipients of those awards, talking about the best young players in the fewer categories, talking about the best foreign player playing within the league, those new categories that we did introduce in the last edition. What was the reception from those recipients for the awards?
Obviously, they were excited, and like I said, it was the first time in the Football Association history, or the history of the ceremony in Liberia, to have these things, these categories included. We saw fruitful response. They engaged it well. I still remember one of the winners, specifically Lisa from West Point. She won an award, and then fast forward, I see Lisa is now into business, and some of the stories she's been able to explain is that the funding from said award contributed to pushing our business forward. It has also helped. We also saw this guy from the Mighty Enforcer winning also in the male category, and let's see what happens this year. Yeah, most discipline. Yes, it was unannounced, not a public thing, and it was just the stats that brought out whoever emerged as winner.
So on the overall, looking at the impact of this award since the introduction of this elaborate ceremony back then in 2019, where we saw MVP walking away with a vehicle just in the male category, and then later was extended to the women's category. I mean, give us your view on the overall impact of this award ceremony by the Football Association, recognizing those individual performances and then dishing out those cash prizes, including vehicles.
I think we're having a huge impact. The fact that you keep hearing people talking about the event. I mean, every time they want to know when is the new date, when is the actual date. You also see players eager to follow up on their stats. You see also we've had increase in performance. Our players' performance has also risen a bit. Everybody wants to be caught up, on this final day for some acknowledgement.
Indeed, it has been impactful in talking about some of those landmark moments that were introduced during the previous edition, where we saw the digital voting platform, unlike the previous one, where coaches, captains, and journalists came to the Football Association to sign up for their forms to go and vote. They then put it in envelope and bring it back. This time around, it was all digitalized, and we are hoping to see a better one because, like Mr. Scott said, every edition we have new additions to spice up the event. So moving forward to this year's edition, Mr. Scott, as member of the planning committee and as one of those individuals who is always in the background to ensure that
Yeah,
these things
man.
are worked on, we have a successful program, these things are well planned. I mean, tell us, what do we expect, or how has it been so far related to the planning for this year's edition?
So far it's so good. It's been going well. We have one or two things, to finalize before the awards next Saturday, but so far it's been good. We announcing the host will be announced next week, along with the artists that will be performing as well. So we have a good rollout plan for next week leading up to the awards, but it's been good.
So now, stay with the planning of this year's edition. From your end as the competitions manager, tell us, I mean, how the planning or how the planning process has been going so far, and then what do we expect from your end?
Um, the process, like Banya said, it's been tough. I mean, it's always tight to make some of these selections, but it's been good also because the digital tool has made the decision much easier for us. They generate the stats real on time, and it's easy to just roll out as per the standard layout for each category. So yes, we're looking forward to an exciting ceremony this year. Promises to be great. Um, there's always some point to look out for.
So now I'm told we do have new additions in this year's edition. Tell us, what are those new additions or new categories that we do have, and then what's the rationale behind the inclusion of those new categories?
Okay, so with like every year we try to make it better, like Banya said, and looking at our regional counterparts as well as bigger football platform for ceremonies of this nature. We thought to reflect SIM into what we do at the federation here. So this year we've added the best Liberian international player. This category specifically is going to pick out our Liberian players that play outside of Liberia, and it's going to pick out standout performance when performers for the period under review, and then the decision will be made as to who wins and who failed to win. The essence or the rationale behind this is to recognize the performance of our players. Being called up to the national team is not just the only official way to recognize outstanding performance. We think that by having a ceremony of this nature and picking out standout performers is another way of reaching out to the players and letting them know that their efforts has been recognized by the Football Association. So, still additions we've made to the awards. This year we're having the best foreign player. We have foreign players in the league across both sets. This year we're having the best foreign player captured both male and female version. It's not only going to be in the male category. We had it last year, and this year we have it's a combined award this time around for the men's category, best foreign player, and we're combining top performers from first and second division unlike last year where it had just first division and took only first division players. We're going to spice it up this time around with the LFA 11.
Okay.
It's not like a basic category. It's also a way of identifying standout performer per role. So in the men's category, we're going to have both first and second division combined, and then in the women's category, we'll have one set out. This is not out for vote. It's straight based on the stats from the league, and then at the ceremony, the best 11 in both categories will be announced.
So now going to these four categories, tell us how do you guys go about the nomination process when it comes to coming up with the nominees before the jurors can go ahead to do the voting?
So there are different layer, and we've prepared a full stretch out and sent to stakeholders already. There are different segments, and permit me to take some time off and just see how we review the documents. Okay. So we have different categories of award which you're aware of, and I'll just roll out a few, basically because these awards are reflecting. For instance, if we have it in first division, you see same in second division, same in women's division. So I'm just going to roll out the basic ones so that we can have it. So we start up with the fair play team. Obviously, it's not up for vote. It's calculated based on stats of the club. First, is capturing all of your match attendance. As a club, this is not for individual award, it's for the club. As a club, you must have attended all of your games, both the regular league game, both the cup games, or other LFA sanctioned games. You must have attended all of them. The next part is you must be in the range of least number of cautions or expulsions received. Followed also by other disciplinary measures meted against members of the club, or other situations surrounding violations of the rules and regulations of the LFA. You also have to, if you're in the range of least cards, you must have the least, basically bare minimum. You must have the least number of yellow, red cards in order to be eligible to be a winner of this category in terms of fair play. And this cut across all of the leagues, first division, second division, and upper women's division. You must meet these criteria primarily in order to be there. So we're going to the best referee. Is also there for standout performers. And this time around, like we did last year, the referee committee, as the technocrats associated with validating referees' performance, will make a decision as to who's the best referee in terms of the male category and who's the best referee in terms of the female category. But the basis for winning this award covers first the number of appointments. You must have been appointed to at least 80% of the games covered in the league first season. So that's the first category criteria met.
So the fact that you keep being appointed to serve in those games, meaning your performance.
It shows quality performance. It shows compliance also because the regulations are strict. If you're having challenge, for instance, with reporting, if you're having challenge with match attendance, challenge with performance, it reduces the number of selection you have to attend games.
So it's not just based on your performance, referee, where you sound the whistle or perhaps make the decision, but also after the game, how you make your report as a referee.
Yeah, the reporting is also important in it. That's why I would say you must have attended 80%, because if you hit 80% mark, it means you've been able to cross these lines basically and stand out as one of the top performers. So yes, you must have played 80% of the games as a referee. You must have avoided suspension during the course of the period. You must also have the simple majority. This is for the referee committee. There has to be simple majority of votes or decision from the end of the referees committee. So still on other basis, we're having best coach as we've always done in the men's category. This one is both first, second division men and then women category. So there's 3 different awards to be dished out here. And this will take more time to dwell on the best coach award this time. There are 3 basic criteria we set out. So the first one is you must have won a championship, be it domestic, be it international. You must have won a championship. Now, this provision is not applicable to the second division best coach. And this is because the second division clubs per stats has one major tournament. That is one major competition. That is the second division league. Besides the second division league, they are participant in the FA Cup, and per the statistics, the last time we had a second division team go as far as the grand final was 3 years ago with then Tony FC. Since then, it's been a challenge for second division clubs. So we recognize such, and we made the winning championship, be it domestic or international, not a major cap for second division. So another basis is you must have significant win-loss record. I mean, as a coach, your balance has to be struck. How many games you won, how many games you lost. Your disciplinary record also has to be in check. And then you must have one day vote, simple majority from the stakeholders. We're having coaches voting, we're having captains voting, and then the media. So this is all for vote. The best coach is all for vote. This is for the public to decide based on the nominees. Next is the best goalkeeper. It's not all for votes. Yes, the best goalkeeper is straight stats. But then there are a few things we need to consider, and some of them include they say you must have had a higher number of clean sheets. First is the number of clean sheets you keep as a goalkeeper. It has to be at the top. You must be at the top in terms of the number of games you play without clean sheet, without conceding a goal. Now, not just a clean sheet, there are technical details. You must have a low number of caution and expulsion, from league matches as well. Now, you also must have played a minimum of 80% of the games, of the team games. So it's possible I might play 6 games during the course of the league and I concede in one. And another goalkeeper might have played 16 games and concede in 2. I mean, the ratio tells you. So you must have played more games as well. So it's validated based upon the number of games you've played, the number of clean sheets you kept, and then if there's further checkpoints, then we'll go down to disciplinary record as in cards and other things. You must have an average of 70 minutes minimum per match as a goalkeeper.
So it's not because perhaps you're introduced in the second half of the game. Just
Yeah, you play 5 minutes, then you concede goal.
Yeah, for just those few minutes that you play, you have the highest clean sheet.
No, so we're considering all of these things. I mean, it's about giving top performance, and it has to cover a lot of bases. So then we'll go on to the next best defender, which is across all the leagues. It's also up for vote. And the coaches, captains, and then media will decide. But then again, the basis of it, we say you must have played 80%, like the referee, like the goalkeeper. You must have low number of caution, expulsion records. Your team defense line, as in the number of goals conceded during your involvement, has to be less. Yes, during your involvement has to be less. You also need to clock minimum of 70 minutes per game.
So let's move forward with the voting process. How this year's voting process is going to be done? Is it going to maintain the same digital style of voting? And then also what the percentage allotted to each of those periods? We're talking about the captain, the coaches, and the media.
We're gonna maintain the digital votes, but then there's some tightening we've done. Unlike the last time, we had about a month process long for voting, and to some extent we realized some irregularities. I must say yet, so we want to check it as fast as we can. So the voting process this year will follow the digital platform. We've already requested from all of the stakeholders, the delegates, as in coaches and captains, details. We've also requested from the media department the list of accredited journalists for the period 2024-2025, so that we can hand them the voting codes and other things to access the portal. So voting will open on 22nd December, and it's going to last from 00, midnight or early morning, 12 a.m. till 11:59 p.m. on the same day. It's a 1 day straight thing.
So it's just a 1 day process.
Yes, 1 day process.
So how fast is the process that we allocated just a single day for the voting process?
The overall voting takes you, like the journalists. Let me start with their category because they are cutting across in all of the categories. So even if I'm as slow as I can, I will not take more than 10 minutes to vote. Looking at a very slow person, you will not even take more than 10 minutes to vote. The categories are already laid out. You just have to click as you prefer, and then it's submitted. But what you have to consider before voting, your email has to be logged. If it's not captured, you wouldn't have access. We realized last year people were sharing link. The link comes directly this time from the organizers to the eligible candidates. So, like I said, we've requested names, emails, and numbers because we're sending directly to you, and that cannot be shared. Unlike last year, we had a single link where everybody was just sharing. No, it cannot be shared. Yes, it's a single access. When you enter, you're asking for access to go ahead. That's why we requested the emails earlier so that we can be able to make progress.
So what's the percentage allocation for those jurors in the voting process?
Coaches will start with the teachers of the game or technocrats. They've handled 50% of the voting space this year. And then our captains with 40%. And then the accredited journalists with a huge number takes 10%. And there are restrictions, it's good I will mention. So if I'm a coach in the women's league, I can only vote there. My vote does not extend to second division, neither does it extend to first division.
That's something that was introduced in the past edition.
Yes, and it's still it's maintained for this era. Now the only group that has the opportunity to vote at all levels, is the media. Yeah, they want to vote in first, second, and women's spaces.
All right, so we move forward, talking about the much anticipated one that almost everyone is voting for, the nominees for each of those categories in the men's division, first and second, and the women's division as well. So, to what you proceed with the nominees for each of those categories.
Wow. You can do Q&A. You will do that.
Yeah, after the nominees, we move to the president.
Okay. So we'll start with second division. We'll do women after second division, and then we'll do first division finally. So second division nominees. There are 4 categories we're going to read out, and the others we cannot because they're stats related. But the 4 categories are out for votes. We're going to read them out. It starts with the best coach category in second division. We have Mamadi Kamara, formerly Ghana's FC. We have Otis Tanu, Jubilee FC. Jasper Ben Felix, Ologisi FC. So in this category, the votes they're distributed 50% coaches, 40% media, 40% captains, and then 10% media. So I'll go over the nominees for best coach in second division. Mamadi Kamara of Ghana's FC, Otis Tanu, Jubilee FC, Jasper Ben Felix, Ologisi FC. Next is the best defender, second division. Best defender category, Sekou Kane, Ologisi FC, Wilson K. Jackson, Downtown FC, Freddie Sibo, Ghana's FC. So I'll go over it. Best defender, second division category, Sekou Kane, Ologisi FC, Wilson K. Jackson, Downtown FC, Freddie Sibo, Ghana's FC. And then the best young player in second division category, James Kane, which is 17, Josiah Lacho, CC United, Edmond Parker, Pax FC. Best young player second division, James Kane, which is 17, Josiah Lacho, CC United, Edmond Parker, Pax FC. And then we move to the player of the year, MVP in second division category, Maxwell Keller, Ologisi FC, George A. Jangale, Ghana's FC, Christopher Jabo, Jubilee FC, Francis Doe, Ologisi FC. So the player of the year in second division, Maxwell Keller, Ologisi FC, George A. Jangale, Ghana's FC, Christopher Jabo, Jubilee FC, and Francis Doe, Ologisi FC. That's for second division. And so the Fair Play Team Award is now up for votes. Best goalkeeper is now up for votes. Highest goal scorer is now up for votes. These are strict stats. The 11, as in best performer male, is also now up for votes. So
just before going to the women's category, just a reminder that those nominees came up based on the criteria that was either rare, so it's not that hinting something And then after winning criteria, we just wanted to beat those players. So the criteria that were earlier announced or read by the competition's manager, it was through those criteria that it went ahead to select the nominees for these rare categories within the second division, the first and the women's division.
Yes, so we'll continue with the second division.
Women's.
I mean, the women's division. Wow, just a second. Okay. So in the women's division, we have best coach for Mata Dean, War Girls FC, Monroe Win, Shatter FC, Rabble Latte Determined Girls. Best coach, women's category for Mata Dean, War Girls FC, Monroe Win, Shatter Angels, and then Rabble Latte Determined Girls. So like we did in the second division, this category is up for vote, and coaches have 50%, 40% goes to captain, and then the media has 10%. Next is the best defender in the women's category. We have Margaret Stewart, Determined Girls FC, Joyce Tukpa, Senior Female Professionals, Francisca Howe, Shatter Angels. Best defender category in the women's football division. Margaret Stewart, Determined Girls, Joyce Tukpa, Senior Female Professionals, Francisca Howe, Shatter Angels. Next is the best young player in the women's category. Jessica Kwashi, Determined Girls, Mary Kia, Pusho Queens, Benu Yante, Senior Female Professionals. The best young player in the women's category, again, Jessica Kwashi, Determined Girls, Mary Kia, Pusho Queens, and then Benu Yante, Senior Female Professionals. So to the player of the year, for the player of the year category, women's football division, we have Jessica Kwashi, Determined Girls FC, Eroline Jackson, Senior Female Professionals, Mabinti Kamara, Determined Girls, Miata Morris, Shatter Angels. Again, player of the year, women's football category, Jessica Kwashi, Determined Girls, Eroline Jackson, Senior Female Professionals, Mabinti Kamara, Determined Girls, Miata Morris, Shatter Angels. That's it for the women's category. Before we do the men, with the first division, it's important to also roll out two categories that were not mentioned in the second division and that of the women. That has to do with the best foreign player and the best Liberian international. So the best foreign player, I want to start with the women category first. So we have Mabinti Kamara, Determined Girls, Sekina Mbali, Earth Angels, Mbase Dabo, Determined Girls. The best foreign player, Mabinti Kamara, Determined Girls, Sakina Mbali, Earth Angels, Mbase Dabo, Determined Girls. And in the men's category, we have Adam Savage, FC Fasel, best foreign player. We have Emmanuel Bedu, Jubilee FC, best foreign player. We have Suleiman Sisse, Downtown FC, best foreign player. These are the nominees. And then the Liberian International, best Liberian International category. In the women's division, there's Mimi Aiden, and then there's Pauline Abosu. This time it's just two in the women's category, best foreign player. And then in the men's category, we have Murphy Dolly, Samson K. Dwe, and Solomon M. Dwe. So best Liberian International again, Murphy O. Dolly, Samson K. Dwe, and Solomon M. Dwe. Now we roll out to first division nominees. Like we did in second and the upper women's division, the fair play team is not up for vote. Same applies to best goalkeeper and top scorer. Now we go on to the best coach category. Alvin Minette, FC Fasel. Steven Ta, the Discoveries Sports Academy. Sam Chipley, Blackman Warriors. Best coach men's category, Alvin Minette, FC Fasel. Steven Ta, Discoveries FC, Sam Chipley, and Blackman Warriors. So the best defender in the men's category, Division 1, Josephus Mator, FC Fasel. Albert K. Swen, Heaven 11, Alexander Curtis, Watanga FC. Best defender, Josephus Mator, Albert K. Swen, Heaven 11, Alexander Curtis, Watanga FC. Best young player in the first division category, Prince Mator, Blackman Warrior, Pee Roberts, Watanga FC, Emmanuel Flomo, Leska FC. Best young player, Prince Mator, Blackman Warrior, Pee Roberts, Watanga FC, Emmanuel Flomo, Leska FC. On to the player of the year in the men's category. There's 4 nominees here. Same applies to women and same applies to second division. So there's Nicholas Andrews, having 11. Mark Yala, FC Facel. Adam Savage, FC Facel. Josiah C, FC Facel. Again, the player of the year in the men's category, Nicholas Andrews, having 11. Mark Yala, FC Facel. Adam Savage, FC Facel. Josiah C, FC Facel.
So we have FC Facel dominating the individual category for the
First division. So these are the 2024-2025 award nominees. Anthony.
Thank you very much, Joel. Thank you to our audience out there who keep following us since the start of this program. So now we'll move on to questions and answers from the journalists who are present here for this media engagement related to the nominees, the processes leading to the awards that is just 8 days away. So the floor is open for questions.
Thank you. My name is Edwin Lolo. You spoke more like about the categories. Sometimes the cash prices this year, is it the same or what or higher will be?
Go ahead, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the cash prices, there's some improvements along the line. But it's still as we had it last year. Some categories experience improvement as well. I remember we've added categories as well to the package. So obviously, like Banya said, there are a few things being worked on. But what we can show is that we're not going below what we provided last year in any category. Yes, we will not go below what we provided. Yeah.
Yep.
One question. What are those standard or you look at for specific area?
For specific area, unfortunately, we had an entire league season to work through, so we're not picking particular games. What we're doing in terms of the data generation is to generate the overall performance. It's a bug. I mean, there are moments where that's why you see to the portion about covering games. There's this thing about 80% because it's a high mark from based on what we've generated. 80 is a high mark, and we cannot single out a particular game to nominate an individual. The season, for instance, in second division, there's 240 games on the overall. Per club, you have 30 games to play. So it's very possible a player might be outstanding in this match, and on several occasions, he's below the belt. So the way to generate the data or the nomination stats is to pull out the entire season performance and set a standard mark based on the data generated.
So for we're talking about because we got some players who are taking the national teams and then some of them regular league season, so that's one way. So
The portion of the national team was not ignored. If you follow the nomination, you will see there are a lot of nominees took you from national team performance. Yes, the national team obviously cannot be ignored. Is a standard for nomination as well. It was highly considered.
so the second question,
Yep.
so we go to the organizer. What new is it when it comes to the program? What new?
What I don't really.
What new?
What new?
What new? I don't want to give it away. It's an element of surprise. So come on Saturday. Were you at the one last year?
No.
Okay. So come this year, have the experience, and then you can judge from there how it was based on feedback from others who were there last year. But trust me, it's entertaining. You know, it's good to celebrate football. We always have music awards, we have film awards, and you know, football is something that brings everybody together in Liberia. So it's a great thing for us to celebrate our players and their accomplishments. But come out on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, Perry, so you address I'm much more concerned of the safety and security when it comes to the protection of votes. How can voters be convinced one organizer and their votes be protected vote of discrepancy and other stuff?
So
Okay.
we have an auditing firm, KFA auditing firm, and the votes are not given to us until the show starts. If you notice, every time we have the awards, we call them up on stage. They bring a sealed envelope that has all the winners in there and turn it over to us. So nobody knows who wins until that day.
So as a follow-up about the safety and security of the votes, we've not had a situation where the LFA tampered with votes or the votes were tampered with at any point in time. That's why you're having a secured point to submit via email, and it's there. After the event, you can counter check like we've done on previous occasion to publish the votes. So if you think what you submitted did not reflect is right, at all times the LFA is here to review. Even the votes from last year, if an individual wants to check their vote, it's still there with the IT group. You can check. So don't worry, it's very confidential.
Yeah, Eric.
Yes, you spoke about the duration for the voting exercise because we have 8 days to the process. And then you made mention of the journalists. You did not talk about the coaches and the captain. How long is it going to take for them to vote for their respective?
No, the vote is for everybody.
So everybody
December 22, yes, for everybody to vote. Coach, captain, journalist, all. Like I said, we've sent out the information. I should reach out. Reach out already for the media group. But clubs have submitted their captains and coaches details. We requested email address, WhatsApp, and then full name. For journalists, we're dealing with only accredited journalists for 2024-25. Not this season as ongoing. The season that we played, yeah, those that were accredited for that period and cover the league. I mean, those are the ones that we're reaching out to.
Yes, Sam.
Yeah, I'm Sam Moba. My question, I have two concerns. One is the last edition of the awards where we put this a category allotted to media this season. This edition we've not heard anything about media, so I want to know how did we get there? What was the rationale from the awards committee in eliminating the media from the awards process? And then next is the duration of the duration of the voting process, using 24 hours to vote. In other past editions of the award has been longer than this, and then coming up with strictly 24 hours, taking into consideration other factors like technology, some may say electricity in their team offices and other places. How did we get to this point that we're sticking 24 hours?
Let's make this interactive for the both of us. I'd like to start with the voting time, and I'll put it back to you. There's 24 hours allotted to vote, right? There's sufficient notice. Today is Friday. Tomorrow makes it 24 hours. The day after tomorrow is 48 hours. You have to adjust. You covered an entire league season, 500 plus games across all of the categories. The names have been read. They will be issued to you impressed individuals. There's today, there's Sunday, and then Monday. You are not compelled to start from early morning. At any time, like I said, the overall vote for journalists, for instance, if I'm very slow, it takes me 10 minutes. So I have 24 hours to do something that I can do in 10 or under 10 minutes. I can do it in under 5 minutes, under 2, and based on my space and my speed as well. So some of the factors you're mentioning, we in our analysis we didn't see it as factors to affect the eligible candidates' vote. For instance, I go back to you, media personnel. almost every day you're writing articles, you're online, you're engaging. Some kind of way you found a way out to access the internet. Why must it be time to vote in one more time? And the same goes across to other categories. We think it's fair enough because after the votes, like you heard Safa mention, the auditors have their part to play, and we do not control how much time they're going to take to work on what they have to work on. So it's fair enough. It's a digital tool, and it's there for you to submit, and the next party takes it off from there. The other part about the media category, the Sport Writer Association of Liberia started conducting our own ceremony for media practitioners in sports. To some extent, this category, as a separate category under the LFA awards, takes key part away from SWA's event. So, in as much as we're in charge of football administration, we're also considerate about the impact on our aligning partners as well. So, in the wisdom of the organizing team, we decided to omit that section of the award, and then SWA takes it up fully in her sports media awards portion. So yes, we took it out so that it's exclusively for SWA to handle during her awards ceremony. When it's for media, it's a full blast for media with SWA.
So is the LFA now going to render some level of support or assistance or funding to SWA award if we are like taking it as the new step forward?
Let that be for another turn. I'm not an official spokesperson of the LFA. I'm here to address the awards related details. So I can't tell you, I can't give you that answer right now, Chief.
I think from the media end, good question, Sam. SWA and the Football Association have been working over the years, and the partnership continues to get stronger. So, like Joel said, we can officially right now say that LFA is going to provide a certain amount to SWA for this award. But as time goes by, the SWA award draws closer. Once the leadership of SWA engages with the leadership of the Football Association, definitely things going to be worked out to ensure that SWA awards also get that same leverage it deserves, so that sports journalists have value for their own awards, for their own parent body that is giving this award. So it's not in any way meant to degrade the work that journalists put in to promote the Liberia Football Association, the activities. So any other question? Yeah, Founder Perry.
Quickly for my finally, specifically the grievance, we got in a normal process of voting, we expect other parties to file in some grievances. So in terms of grievance, if Perry feels somehow cheated in the process, what are the ways out to getting feedback from the community?
The LFA has judicial bodies. You can address your grievance through the office of the General Secretary to the LFA Ethics and Disciplinary Committee, and they will conduct an investigation to look into whatever you have as grievance. Yes, and it's a good thing to seek redress. It's normal. We've seen it post-award era, then there's accusations left and right, but it's a good question, I think, from your side, and you can address it to the LFA Ethics and Disciplinary Committee through the Office of the General Secretary, and you get feedback.
Thank you very much, Joel. Thank you very much, Safo, and thank you to the media members of SWA who are here to follow this program, and thanks for the engagement as well. Many thanks also to the followers out there who have been following us through Intersports. Thanks to our partners Intersports for bringing this broadcast live here at the headquarters of the Liberia Football Association. As I will call it a day on this special edition of the LFA Awards Media Engagement. We're just 8 days away from the 2024-2025 LFA Awards, where athletes are going to be rewarded or recognized for their excellent performances during the past this season, with some new categories introduced, with some surprising awards that's also going to be dished out during the ceremony. So again, many thanks for following. Until then, do have yourself a wonderful time.
Us in Liberia Football Association, we're so happy, excited that we've all worked to see December, and wishing each and everyone Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Good news from the Football Association and the Executive Committee of the Football Association made a series of approvals today, approving the increase in the subvention to clubs in the first, second, and women's division to $7,500 each, increasing also the indemnity for match commissioners to $60 per match commissioners, increasing on overall indemnities for referees. And I mean, the big one in terms of what we all been talking about is about, improving infrastructures in our country. The executive committee now has also approved 3 mini pitches, one in Maryland County, another way there in Brownsville, another in the Saytown community in Monserrato County. In addition to those mini pitches, the executive committee has also approved to move forward with the RFQ for artificial pitches around Liberia. Marshall City will have one artificial pitch. Grand Juda County, like we've spoken about before, will also have an artificial pitch. Grand Crew County, River G, Maryland County, Sano, Riverside, Bombing, Bapulu counties, including Grand Cape Mount counties. All of those counties, Lofa and Bone, will definitely have artificial pitches. The executive committee has now given us the authorization to move forward with the works in terms of obtaining the RFQ for the various facilities. Also, in addition to the transportation scheme that we introduced under the LFA to support clubs in terms of their movement, we've approved also purchase of 4 buses, 30-seaters, to assist the easy movement of our players belonging to clubs from one league venue to another, in order to reduce the risk factor of hiring other vehicles that are not 100% roadworthy, and to provide comfort to our players, both boys and girls, in our leagues. The executive committee, in addition to that, also approved the purchase and the procurement of stadium lighting that should be at the Thomas F. Floyd Stadium, also at the Doris William SKD Practice Pitch, the Nesebido Stadium, also at the Tusa pitch, to ensure that we have more night matches played by our clubs in the league. We've also going to launch the procurement of digital scoreboards for all other venues without scoreboards, to ensure that all of our fans will have more comfort. The executive committee is still reviewing the construction of change rooms at the Gompa Stadium as well, and many other additional opportunities for the LFA. A couple of the big ones, yes, announced on OKFM, the Liberia Football Association taking into consideration all of the experiences, challenges with funding, will now move towards the construction of the LFA Hotel. LFA Hotel, we intend to have a building, 50 rooms, 10 suites, 20 double rooms, 20 single rooms, a rooftop, a bar, live swimming pool, conference hall, and all intended to provide comfort accommodation for our national team players, and to also utilize the hotel for hospitality services, where we can generate money to reinvest into our football program. So I believe it's something big for us. And then moving forward, the 4 football zones are going to have zonal offices. One zonal office will be constructed in Bond County, another zonal office in Maryland County, another zonal office in Clay-Bombay County, another way there in Grand Bassa County. It's all geared towards ensuring that we have these facilities in place to enable easy access of our clubs way there in the regional association, and to provide comfort for those who are managing regional football in Liberia. Season greetings to our dear stakeholders.